What's going on, y'all? I'm Waldo with Face4Wrestling, and we are here for another 4for4, and this one is very near and dear to my heart. We have with us today one of the most fabulous wrestlers around, Kidd Bandit.
What? Fabulous?
Now, I told you the rules beforehand. We do 4 questions, top 4 answers, and you can expand or not expand as much as
Wait, I thought you said there are no rules.
Okay, well, we can go with no rules, too.
Oh.
Talk about what you want to talk about.
Oh, you would not believe. Okay. All right.
So are you ready?
Yes.
My first one is because the first time we got to see you wrestle here in Texas, you were cosplaying, or not cosplaying, but your wrestling attire was My Hero Academia.
Oh.
And you're fine. I want to know your top 4 anime or mangas.
Top 4. Changes every year. I would say my top one right now would be Cyberpunk Edge Runners over at Netflix. It's a Netflix original anime based off the 2020 video game Cyberpunk 2077. Solely because it had an ending. It didn't drag along. It told its story, start to finish. It's really good, recommended to everybody. It has a really killer soundtrack, and there's a video game that you could play that's set after the anime, so you could literally put yourself in that world and live the lives that these characters live. So I think that with the added experience of the game itself after the show, that really enhances your experience with it. So definitely recommend that for both gamers and I guess like anime fans, right? Second, Naruto holds a very dear place in my heart. One, because I grew up watching it. Now I understand it has a very negative stigma because of all the filler that got put out for Naruto. However, I did not mind that as much. There are multiple versions of it online available that basically trim the fat, as it were. So if you are new to anime, want a standard shonen anime to get into, Naruto would be a good entry-level anime, as it were. Why am I talking about anime like drugs? Anyway.
Well, to be fair,
it is addicting. It is very addicting. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX would take the number 3 spot, and many people ask me why would I pick Yu-Gi-Oh! GX over the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. It's simple. I really like the idea that there was a school out there where people go to school for children's card games, and they spend billions of dollars for technological advancements to enhance the gameplay of said children's card game. I love the fact that these students aren't ranked based off their classes in life, but ranked by their ability of how good they are at Yu-Gi-Oh! And to me, the premise of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is so absurd, but it's also cool. Now, I know there was Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, which involved motorcycles, but Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is something that came when I was young and going to school, and I've always fantasized myself, man, I don't want to go to algebra class, but I do want to go to class about polymerization and fusion monsters. So, I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh! fan. And hair, hello. And the 4th favorite anime would be King of the Hill.
yes.
Okay, so that's a joke answer, but a little nice little bit of trivia for Kidd Bandit fans out there, and for anyone who is curious, the name Kidd Bandit, at least the bandit part, came from an episode of King of the Hill. It was an episode where Bobby finds a pet raccoon, names it Bandit.
Yes.
I remember I needed to cut a promo for promo class for the Nightmare Factory, and it was the very first promo I had to cut in front of Cody Rhodes, my favorite wrestler of all time, and I'm freaking the heck out. And I remember partaking in certain very legal substances.
I got that question coming up.
Okay. And I remember waking up at 2 a.m. watching, and the TV was on, and when Bobby looked at the raccoon and said, "I'm going to name you Bandit." Bobby was not talking to the raccoon that day. Bobby Hill was talking to me. And thus, Bandit was added to my name. But to answer the 4th question, I would say it's a lesser-known anime. It's called Zoids, the original Zoids. There's a toy line with it. If you're familiar with Gundam anime series, it's very similar premise, except instead of humanoid samurai robots, these are based off animals. there's a lot of parallels between it. I like it a lot because I collected Zoids as a kid. It holds a special place in my heart. And when I was a poor kid growing up in the Philippines, I only had one PS2 game, which was SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, and one Game Boy game, which was a Zoids Legacy. And when you're a poor kid and you have one game, guess what you're going to do all day?
Yep.
Play the heck out of that game. So I was very, very immersed in Zoids. So that's why I always like put that in my top 5.
That's amazing. Matt and I know about the game thing. We used to play Pokemon Red and Blue on the original Game Boy at Taco Bell. We broke through our employment.
Hell yeah. Well, starters.
Charizard for me. I like fire.
What's your starter?
Bulbasaur.
Your choice.
Poison. Sleep powder.
I can't argue that.
Solar beam.
Okay. Going from that straight into top 4 cosplay.
Top 4 cosplays I've done or
Just
would like to do?
Would like to do, have done, whichever your top 4.
Let's see. Top 1. That would be Dark Magician Girl. Yu-Gi-Oh fan. Dark Magician Girl was also my first childhood crush. And I know it's weird because it's a TV show. It's a cartoon. But as far as animated cartoons go, Dark Magician Girl had my heart. Because, one, if you play Yu-Gi-Oh!, the card effect of Dark Magician Girl is very effective if you play the sorcerer. Anyway, moving on. But also because I just like the aesthetic of it. Number 2 would be I really, really, really want to do a Stormtrooper cosplay. Like, just straight up, no fancy flashes, no personalization of it. Just a regular Stormtrooper. And the reason for that is because I am a big Star Wars fan. I've always thought Stormtroopers look cool. I mean, I think you saw my mask today, my helmet. I am a big fan of armor. Armor to me, armor to me,
I get it,
is very effective. And the fact that we see in so many fantasy, sci-fi, all these forms of like media and fiction, people who dress sexy, it doesn't make sense. Armor up. And, I've always wanted to have my own set of Stormtrooper armor. Now, I know it's useless, but it looks cool. All right.
We could go Beskar and do Mandalorian set because there's another one floating around in the back right now.
Interesting.
We're doing a Mandalorian thing later.
I like Mandalorians. I liked it when I was younger. It could be a case of like bitter hipster where now that there's a show about Mandalorian, everyone's a Mandalorian.
That is true.
So maybe that's why my like.
But this is the way.
But they didn't even say that like as much as back then. Like they didn't have like the whole like can't reveal your face thing. Like that's a new invention from the show. I like the show, but I don't know. Like I'm a bitter jaded hipster. I was into it before everybody else was. Which brings me to my next cosplay, also Star Wars. I've always wanted to do Asajj Ventress.
Okay.
Which is a bit.
No.
Is that the Force? Okay. So Asajj Ventress, solely because my gear right now is heavily inspired by Night Sisters from Star Wars. Asajj Ventress is one of my favorite characters. So wanted to use. I wanted to do a cosplay of them, but I don't want to shave my head. So
yeah.
So there. I mean, I know there was like a version of them with hair, but the best version.
That's a line too far, though.
It's a line too far. And lastly, I want to say Samus Aran, just because that one holds a special place in my heart. That was actually my very first cosplay that I posted online. Blew up. And I think you can kind of put 2 and 2 together and how it led to like a big major life decision for me. But yeah, like being able to use that as like kind of like a gateway into like figuring stuff about myself outside of the cosplay of wrestling, and just and tying it together with something that that's interesting to me, like video games and sci-fi. It's very important. But I'm gonna get canceled for this. I have never ever beaten a game.
You're with the right crowd. We struggle against.
So,
love them.
I love me too. I love gaming. I suck at gaming. It's I play The Sims because I can't lose at Sims.
The recent Mario movie that just came out. You don't realize how close I was to not being to being able to beat the first Mario before seeing this movie. And I've had that game since '87.
Wow. I don't think I've ever beaten Mario either. I mean, okay, I beat.
But you're young. You have an excuse.
Well, no, I had Super Mario Brothers on like the bootleg gaming devices that
Oh, like
also they're
ROMs, yeah.
MP4 players that somehow played like
Yeah.
yeah.
You're well traveled. You've been around. You've even told us that there are places that exist outside of Texas. We don't believe you, but you told us, and we like you, so we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. What are your top 4 places that you've been?
Buc-ee's.
Yes.
Now, okay. So, one of my favorite. I live by the high desert in California, which outside of California, I think a lot of people assume that it's all Hollywood or San Francisco. It's not. For those of us that live near the outskirts, it's very rural. It's not as metropolitan as Hollywood makes it out to be. So living near the high desert, traveling down the I think it's the 95. Either way, like it's the road between LA and Vegas. There's a
I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So there's the Mojave, basically
Yes.
the Mojave Desert. So I live by there. I'm actually moving there very soon, and it's one of those things where living in the area like that, you see a lot of like really cool road stops and stuff like that, and we have a couple of those. But lo and behold, when I went to Buc-ee's for the very first time, I remember feeling like it was like heaven, because I have been to so many road stops, and they're all depressing. They try, because like like you're on the road for a while, you're traveling between LA and Vegas, like you want to get like like nice things, but somehow, some way, they turned a gas station into a theme park.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
It's incredible. So so this is maybe it's not really an answer to the question, but
No, it is. That is acceptable.
but I guess like Buc-ee's is a really cool place if you haven't been, But to circle back, I love Texas. I'm sorry that Texas is not the largest state. That honor belongs to Alaska. Where I'm from, by the way. So yes, but hey, it's okay. I love Texas because one, it's very surprisingly, it reminds me a lot of Alaska too. Yeah, which is what I consider Alaska home. It's filled with very diverse set of people. They're also welcoming. But they're also very hardy, and I guess like the popular adage is don't mess with Texas. Well,
Yep.
yes, because like Texas, it breeds a certain type of character where if you generate a bond between someone from Texas, it's more likely that they're more loyal to you as opposed to like the Hollywood fakes that I usually encounter in LA. Which hey, I love LA, which is gonna be the answer to the next one. I love LA. Sorry. I love LA. I love Whataburger, but I love In-N-Out more. I'm sorry. Hey, okay, but to be fair, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I
am.
Okay, I like In-N-Out because I live by one.
I get
it's
you.
so much more access. Like I had Whataburger, it was great. However, Texas has California beat because it has Waffle House.
Yes, and there's a minimum number of missing teeth that you have to have in order to work there.
Is that okay? And then this is gonna be a really wild answer, but I really like North Dakota. Because I've always thought that once my life is complete, I've done everything I've wanted to do. I figure I have my retirement fund. I'm set for life. That is a place I'd like to go to because it snows, so it's it can be kind of like Alaska, but it's also like hot, so it can be kind of like California, and it's out of the way, so I could just kind of live in peace, and I will stay at home with my video game consoles, enjoying the rest of my days.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yes, North Dakota would be my fourth one. Also, it's a very beautiful area.
I'll tell you offline. Last one, top 4, and we're circling back to something you mentioned a while ago, stress relievers.
Are we okay?
Yep.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling. Well, there's multiple reasons why wrestling. It's one, even though it's very stressful and sometimes you wrestle someone that uses the ropes to cheat to win.
I'll put in a picture of what's actually going on off the screen.
I'm just shining up the championship.
Oh God.
Anyway, the wrestling is fun because it's a way for people to express themselves. And it's not just for the performers in the ring; it's also for fans. And I've always felt this before I jumped over the barricade and start performing. I remember in your daily life, you can't just go out and say, "This is awesome," and yell it from the top of your lungs and not get stared at. In wrestling shows, you could yell and let it all out. It brings that primal energy out of people, and it's very liberating, right? To like go out there, watch two people beat the.
Yeah.
Am I good to? No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
probably
you
won't.
say
Okay.
what you want.
Beat the heck.
Yeah.
Beat the heck out of each other, and you as a spectator can egg them on. You know, like we get that in the street, right? World Star, yeah, World Star. But in wrestling, you get multiple fights, and I'm talking like big person versus little person versus like tag teams versus Royal Rumbles. There's so many It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet for people who want to see people get hurt, like that. Not like hurt, like injured, but like that. You know, like yeah. So it's liberating as a fan, but it's also liberating as a performer because now I have, within reason, the opportunity to kick people in the head and get paid for it. That is so cool. That is so incredibly cool. So, wrestling. The second one is video gaming. Even though I suck at it, because it's this form of escapism. I think we were talking about it earlier, but you know, being able to leave like the confines of your physical surroundings, enter a brand new world, and just experience some totally new and different like scenario. It's role playing, sure, but it's also like it's freedom. It's freedom to be something else. It's freedom to explore certain choices that you would never do. I will never run over somebody, but in Grand Theft Auto, I am running over everybody.
Yes. Yes.
And that's number 2. Number 3 is partaking in certain very legal substances, at least for where I live. And,
There are places here.
they're wonderful.
Yes. And prescriptions.
Now, and the reason for that is I am an introvert by heart, but I'm an extrovert when I need to be. But most of the time, when my social barrier runs dry, I like to lock myself in my gaming room, partake, put on a TV show, and be creative. So sometimes I draw, sometimes I write, sometimes I paint, sometimes I play video games, sometimes I just sit there too lethargic to open the door and use the bathroom. And
I feel you.
yeah. But I do it in moderation. Like everything in life, moderation is key. Like you can't succumb to you can't succumb to your vices and let it control your life. You want to be able to do it in moderation. Now, do I play it up so I can have some laughs online? Absolutely. But be responsible, everybody. So this isn't me saying, hey, everybody do it. But also, And I think that's all. That's 3.
Matt, is that 3?
3?
Yeah, 3.
Okay. So the most important one, and this is funny because, like, everybody does it, but I love it. And this is something I actually do for fun. It's sleep. It's funny, but sleeping is, I don't know, like I recommend everybody do. I mean, everybody, it's weird. Everybody does it, but we don't put enough time and effort in making ourselves comfortable when we sleep. Now I'm talking about like memory foam pillows, memory foam mattress, plushies, aroma scented candles near your thing, putting on ocean sounds when you're going to bed. Like I take sleeping very seriously because it's relaxation. It's the ultimate form of relaxation that we do every day anyway. We might as well make that like an experience. And that's why I love going to bed, because it's like, oh, like I can't wait to go to my room, my pimped out room with like these incredible fleece blankets, heavy blankets scented with like lavender and lilac, and I have like a nice little projector for this the ceiling that like shows like the stars and like it changes constellation. And I put like tunes, or sometimes I put Game of Thrones if I'm feeling violent. So yeah, it's so it's a very important aspect of my life. I get that it's kind of lame, but when you take sleep seriously, you wake up, you're feeling, oh yeah, like life ain't so heck. I got 8 hours of sleep as an adult. Isn't that grand?
I will be there one day.
But yeah, like it's funny because like we always assume that when you're awake, it's busy, as opposed to taking specific time of your day to do nothing. And that's like the most opportune time to be creative, to relax. And I'm not talking about like being inebriated either. I'm talking about just like relaxing. So I guess that's the right answer. Relax instead of just sleeping. But I like sleeping.
Like get something out of it.
Yeah. If you, so I encourage everybody, if you can't pimp out your bed, pimp out your pillows. Like it seems so like bougie or even like unnecessary, but like you sleep every day. You might as well make your sleep as best as possible. Like don't, if you can afford to invest, like it's okay. I think it's so serious. A nice memory foam mattress is only $150 on Walmart. It comes with a stroller. You lay it out flat. You cut open the plastic, and it will inflate on its own, and voila, you have a memory foam mattress that you will use for the rest of your life. Because you can make a mattress last for the rest of your life, as long as you're very, very careful about it. Or, you don't wrestle on it. I mean,
I don't know. Matt and I know Dr. DeBryan, and we also know that mattresses don't last forever.
yeah, there it is.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for doing this. Is there anything, before we wrap all of this up, that you want to plug? Where can we find you on the socials? Do you have a twatter? Do you have a graham cracker? Do you have all that fancy stuff?
I wish I didn't need it. I will say it now, and I will say it till the rest of my days. I do not like social media, but I am on it. Why? Because I need it. It's an addiction. And I'm trying to keep it moderated, but it's Kidd Bandit Pro and everything. Sometimes I have Tumblr now, I guess.
I'll put it
yes.
right below.
So I have Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, which I should probably post more because I had a lot of people say they follow me there, but I barely post on it.
Matt, do we have the Tic Tac? Okay.
We do not.
Well, I guess like TikTok is like the social media of the future, which I mean,
Yeah.
I can see it. It's very innovative. I like it. I'm too old to keep up with the times.
Child, listen.
Kid, technically. But yes.
Okay, I will. Like I said, I'll put everything below. I can't thank you enough for being with us. It's been an absolute honor, and your match tonight was amazing here at Pro Wrestling Element.
Thank you.
I don't have anything else. I'm Waldo. Thank you all for joining. Check us out, Face4Wrestling, on the YouTube, all the social medias. Start to kick that like and subscribe button, and don't forget, everyone is different and everyone is good.